Alright, here's how I do her ostomy. The first thing I have is, everything comes out of this tub. I have the 14602 wafer that goes on her jejeunostomy, which is the lower one. And I use 3761, and that goes on her higher stoma, her fistula. And I already have these pre-cut. And then I use one Coloplast strip, one 79520 barrier ring, and that goes around her jejeunostomy. Some stoma paste. Sometimes if there's some redness, I'll use this stoma powder. And I use a adhesive remover also to get the old glue off when I take her old bags off. A little bit of water, some gauze, and that's about it. And so I'm gonna show you what I do. The first thing is, after I pre-cut these, okay. Sorry, I'm one-man show. After I pre-cut these, this is a 3761 that goes on her fistula. The only thing I have to do is just tear that off, and then it's sticky, and leave that be. For the jejeunostomy, I have to apply the wafer or the barrier ring. So I pre-cut it. I cut the hole, and then I cut that right there, and you'll see why. And what I do is I just peel off. It's sticky on both sides. So what I do is I pull it apart. I want to stretch it out because it will swell up. So if you give it a little stretch, and then it'll start to go back. And when it's starting to go back, what I do is I apply it right to the top. Ooh. So you can see there's a little bit of space between the wafer, it's kind of hard to see, and the thing here. And I apply it right at the top, right where the thing goes, and then sometimes I'll stretch this out too a little bit. Okay. And then we can start to come over to her. And I'm going to try to get real close. Hopefully it shows enough detail. So she has her belt. It loops into here. They come with her wafers. She only needs a belt for her jejeunostomy, which is down here. This is the bag attached to her stomach. This is her fistula. This just starts the unused intestine and goes to her rectum. She got a little leak because I didn't change it when I should have, so I'm going to put this one away and wash it. So what I do is I peel the first one off. Alright, sorry, I'm just figuring this out. This does not hurt her at all. And I put a piece of gauze here to catch because sometimes she has some drainage that likes to drip out. So I just peel that off. Oh, she started leaking, so let me just catch.
Mommy, that's fun.
That's fun? Okay. I forgot also, I have a gray bag in here that I can put all her trash in, and so I can put all her trash in this bag here, and then when I'm all done, I can, it's like a diaper bag basically. So any dirty gauze, anything, all goes in there, and so the smell, hopefully. Now she got a leak, which she has not gotten in forever, but that was my fault. So her dad patched it up with some stoma paste, so there's some extra
Hey,
Put
Mommy.
that in the bag.
Mommy.
So, okay,
They're cracking.
you're fine. So this is her, it's connected to her stomach. This is her fistula. So what I do is I just dip this. This is not awesome. Okay, I just dip this in the water. I only put clean gauze in there, and I wipe it off. And there's a lot of glue left over around the fistula. So that's when I take, so awkward. That's when I take this adhesive wipe, and I'm just gonna, and this happens too. That's why I put a pad on under, because just throw it away when you're done. So I'm just wiping down, and it removes that glue. And there's really no glue under, so I never do that, but I just kind of do it around. Usually I only have to use one adhesive remover, but doesn't mean that you can't use more if you feel like you need to. Alright, so I'm going to take some water now and rinse off, let me just move this, rinse off that glue remover. And basically I just want it clean. I do not use soap or anything else on this area. I used to use dial soap, which was okay, but I found that we get the best wear time if we only just use water to clean it off. So I'm just going to rinse it off one more time just to make sure. And then I'm just going to, pretty much I'm done with the water now. So I'm just going to dry it off with the new gauze. A lot of times I should just be keeping this covered, because you never know when there could be something. So I try to dry it the best I can. Then I let it air dry. And while it's air drying, I come and grab this stoma paste. Oh, it's like backwards. And all I'm going to use this for is to fill in her belly button. And I used to use a little syringe, but I just found that just going right from the tube works just fine. So I just leave it just like that. I feel to make sure it's pretty much dry, which it is. Okay.
Why are you talking?
And because we're making a video. So then I'm going to take my 3761, and this is going to go over the top fistula. Now I purposely made this hole a little bit smaller than her fistula. It just eats away at it, so I can get more time if I make it a little bit smaller. And then, because if it gets too big, then this stoma prolapse. So the opening is here, and if it eats away too much, then the stoma actually goes under the wafer, and it just makes a big fat mess. So what I do is, you'll see that I cut it like this. This is going to go over the stoma like a rainbow. So I try to get it like perfectly over. I put it over the stoma. I hold the fistula stoma, and I just pull it prolapse. So usually you don't have to do all this, but I just make sure I try to get as much of it pulled out. As you can see, it doesn't bother her. But that's how you want it. You want it to be half arced over this. Okay? And then what I do, you can do gloves. I don't do gloves. But I just push it down. Push it down on all sides. It's going to go a little over the cream, but then there's going to be some paste still out. The other wafer will cover the rest of it. And then we start on our ileostomy. If she has redness, it's usually right around here. So she doesn't this time, but I will show you what I do if she does have it. I don't do a lot of this stuff too because again it messes with the adhesion between the wafer and the skin. But usually it's just right here. So I just do a little bit. I take a long tip and I just put it around it wherever the redness is. You blow on it, so you just want a little bit left. And then, forgot to grab, you make like a crust. So I have this no sting barrier wipe. It just makes it sticky. And what I do is I just dab it on there and then I just let it dry. And hopefully, you know, she doesn't poop and then it gets it messed up. And then I'll do that for a couple layers. I'll do the powder again, this dabbing of this with using the same thing, and depending on how bad it is, I'll do like 2 or 3 level layers of that. That's called crusting, and it's a good way to just get that skin to heal. If it's super, super, super bad, you can also take calamine lotion and dab it, but you got to let it dry completely. That is a little bit hard because sometimes it takes a little while and then you're trying to keep it clean if her stoma is active. And then you can crust on top of that and that also works really well. So it dries. It only takes a couple minutes to dry. So now I'm going to take my ileostomy wafer. It's sticky around here, not sticky here yet. We'll peel that off. And what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to get that to come right above here. I cut this, you know, you learn how to cut it so the stoma fits in nice. And basically I had to cut this because I need this to be able to adhere to the skin and not to the wafer, because if it only adheres to the wafer then you get leaks. So that's why this is cut there, so then it gives the barrier ring ability to apply or adhere to the skin. So I put it under there and I push it up, and then you can see the wafer through the clear part. And see, I have it cut perfectly, so the stoma's right there. And then I cover it, and I'm going to push down. It's trying to get the wafer to push down around the skin. And then I take my fingers and I push down, just kind of doing the same thing that I did last time. Kind of warms it up, sticks it down. This is called bridging. That's what the nurse told me, when you bridge them together. And then all I do is I peel this white backing off. So then the whole thing will be sticky. See, there's some of the paste. Push it down. Do the other side. Push that down, and then I just do it one more time. And then the last step that I have to do is the Coloplast strip. I cut this here, and basically what I'm wanting to do is I want to get it to fit right in there nicely. So I'm probably going to have to cut this a little bit. Fit right in there nicely, because if she does get leaks, it's always at the bridge. Like under here or out here. And this is very good to catch slow leaks. Not fast leaks, but like if something just starts to very slowly leak out, it'll catch it and trap it in, and it gives you a longer wear time.
Yeah, and if you do that.
So I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm going to just try to get this. I'm going to do semicircle to go over the. Yeah, this should work. So this stuff is very nice to peel. You just go like this. Sticky on the back. And then it's kind of awkward, but kind of figure out the way to do it. There we go. And then I'm going to pull this up. And then it's nice because it goes over, it not only covers right between here where she would get a leak if she does, but it also covers right here, which, you know, you get those too. Not a lot, but it happens. Push it down. And then I apply my bags. She has 2 different bags. Her daytime bags, well, I should say, her daytime bag for her ileostomy is a smaller one. It's $3,799. It's very nice. It just clips on. Her bag for the fistula is the same exact one, but that never changes.
Mommy, Dad.
Just wait. And what you do is you fold it up, fold it up, fold it up, and then it Velcros. And just make sure it's very tight. Now, for her nighttime bag, for her ileostomy, I have to use a bigger bag. So I use this Hollister 18132 bag. I just pop it off, rinse it out, let it hang to dry in the shower. Put this one on. You can see it's much bigger. And I use these for, I get like 4 to 5 day wear time. So these bags will be used, you know, 4 to 5 days, and then I'll throw them all away. And then the last step for her, she has to have a belt on her ileostomy. If she doesn't have a belt, we go from 4 to 5 day wear to less than 12 hours. It just helps hold in the wafer. So when the stool comes in the bag, the stool wants to pull the wafer away from the skin, just from the weight. So this belt just helps to keep it in. So what you do is you just put it in there, click. Okay, put your back up. And then where you want it to be is when it naturally comes, you want it to be about 1.5 inches away. Then you pull it a little tighter to click it in. And this is our bag setup, and it works extremely well for us.